In this video, I'm going to be explaining what a relative major and minor is, and how understanding these can be very useful for writing and playing over chord progressions. What is a relative major and relative minor? So, for any given major chord, or for any given minor chord, there is always a relative major or minor chord. So, the relative minor of F major is D minor. The relative major to A minor is C major. The relative major of G minor is B flat major. Now the reason why these chords are called relative to each other is because their scales all share all of the same notes. So the F major scale and the D minor scale share all of the same notes. If you look at the key of F major, it's all of the exact same chords as the key of D minor. Same as the key of C major, all of the same chords and same notes as the key of A minor. How you can identify the relative major or minor of any given key is pretty simple. So, let's say we're in a major key and we're trying to find the relative minor. So, for this example, I'll use A major. So, for this example, I'll use A major. So if you're in the major key and you want to figure out the relative minor, you take the root note of that key, which in this case is A, and you want to go down in pitch 1.5 steps or 3 frets on the guitar, which in this case will take us from A to G sharp. Then down one is G, and then down again, that is F sharp. So the relative minor to A major is F sharp minor. Now let's say we're in a minor key and we want to figure out the relative major. Let's say we're in the key of B minor. So we'll take the root note of our key, which is B. Then if you're in a minor key but you want to find the relative major, you're going to do the opposite thing of what we just did. So you want to go up in pitch 1.5 steps or 3 frets on the guitar. So we'll start at B, up 1 fret, that's C, C sharp, then D. So the relative major of B minor is D major. Now, on the context of playing these scales on the actual guitar, we use the pentatonic scale as an example. So if we look at the D minor pentatonic scale, what you'll find is that the F major pentatonic scale is literally connected to it. What's also interesting is that within the pentatonic scale, the minor pentatonic scale, so in this case D minor, that's called position 1, and then the relative major pentatonic scale, that's called position 2, which in this case is F major. So these two scales are literally the same scale. If you called the F major pentatonic scale, then you're just going to start from position 2, which is the F major pentatonic. Or if you call it the D minor pentatonic, you're just going to start from position 1, which is D minor. But either way, the scale has all of the same notes, so it's all one scale. Now what this means as well is that because the relative major and minor scales are the same scale, that means that you can play both of those scales over a chord progression within either of those keys. So I can play the F major and D minor scales, whether it's in the key of F major or D minor, it doesn't matter. Both of these keys use all of the same notes. So if we look within the chords of the key, so we'll use F major here. The relative minor of the major key, that's always the 6th chord. So D's right here. So D minor, F major is always the 6th chord. And then when it comes to the minor key, the relative major is always the 3 chord. So if you come to the D minor scale here, there's F right there. There's D. 1, 2, 3. See if I can try and make the shape. I don't like playing bar chords up this high. There we go, nice and clear. I really like fat fingers, so like right here, my finger's actually wider than the actual fret, so it makes it a bit hard to play bar chords this high. But I got it there. Another example of this is C major. So if you come to C major, there's A right there. There's our relative minor. C, A, C major, A minor. Come to G. There's E right there. E minor is the relative minor of G major. Now what's also interesting is that all of the chords within any given key, excluding the diminished chord, all of the chords within any given key are all just relative major and minor pairs. So it's just 3 pairs. So we'll stick with the key of F here. So we have F major. We know that the relative minor is D minor. We come to the next major chord, which is B flat. The relative minor of B flat major is G minor, which is the 2nd chord in the F major scale. F, G. And then C major, we know that the relative minor to C major is A major. Sorry, A minor, which is the 3rd chord in the key of F major. F, G, A. In the key of G, so the relative minor of G major is E minor, which is the 6th chord in the key. If you come up here, A minor, whether that's C major. The 3rd minor chord, B minor. The relative major to B minor is D major, which is the 5th chord in the key of G. Now, because the 6th chord in any given key is the relative minor to the major chord, in that key, the 1 chord, that means that the 6th chord can be used as an alternate tonic of that key. Now, what a tonic is, the tonic is the 1 chord in any given key. So in the key of F major, the tonic or the home chord is the 1 chord, which is F major. Now, because these 2 scales share all of the same notes, D minor and F major, we can use the 6th chord as an alternate resting point or an alternate starting point in a song for a chord progression in the key of F major. So if I take, let's use a very basic chord progression. We'll take 1, 5, 6, 4 as our example. So in the key of F major, this is F, C, D minor, and B flat. Back to F. Now, what if we change that to, say, 1, 4, 5, 6? So when we talk about chord progressions in any given key, the 1 chord is like the home chord, or when a chord progression lands on the 1 chord at the end of the chord, you can tell that the song is finished. The song has nowhere to go. The song is back at home. The 6th chord is an alternate to that. It can provide a darker or minor ending to the song. If we change that chord progression to, say, 1, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 4, 5, 6. The chord progression could end there, right? It's not as satisfying as an ending as this. It's not as satisfying as an ending back to the 1 chord, but it's a satisfying ending nonetheless. It's just a darker, more minor ending to the song. So throughout the song, we're building tension, so we start on the 1. Building tension. And we land on the 6. Now, the song could end there, and it would sound like a good ending. It would sound like a darker, more minor ending, but it would still be a satisfying ending nonetheless. What I wanted to show you guys with this part of the video is that you don't always have to end on the 1 chord in your chord progressions. You can definitely use the 6th chord as an alternate minor ending in your song if you're writing a chord progression. What this is going to do is it's just going to give you another flavor to your ending. Another flavor to your chord progression, add some nuance and some different characteristics to your existing chord progressions. Voice crack there. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please like the video, subscribe, ring that bell. My name is Seth Webster. I appreciate you all for watching. I'll see you around.